Hi, welcome to June. June 1st on the dial. We're getting ready for the month, and I'm excited to be here with you today. Dawn L, Embodied Soul Leadership. Excited to connect with you and provide your soulcast and energy report and see what's the energy for June going to be like. Oh my goodness. I don't know about you, but May was a wild ride. and with that eclipse portal, Mercury retrograde, all these things happening, it was kind of like how best can you flow and navigate all the ups and downs, twists and turns, and all that stuff. And hopefully, you grew from May. It was a big month of change, and um, that eclipse portal, so much fell away for people, so much came to be. Like I remember when I was doing the report for last month, I remember talking about like there was a week where we were going to have like major family shifts and transitions, and by God, that happened in my life. So it's always interesting to see how these things are going to play out. Let me quickly, sometimes I can't see. Hi, Letty. Hi, Rochelle. Who's on live. So if I don't say hi, it's not because I'm ignoring you. It's just because I am going to make sure I stay succinct because a lot of people watch these replays. And so thanks for being here with me today. I am going to start with the energy of just the overall month, what it's going to look like. And I'm going to pull from two decks, and I'll explain in a second. But basically, how you can use this report is every week I'm going to do a card, I'm going to channel, I'm going to see what the themes are. And then it's just to assist you in navigating it and being able to thrive with the energy. And I channel source energy, so that's where it's coming from. So for June, I already know June's going to be. I can already tell June's going to be potent too. I mean, geez, are we like becoming like these masterful, like adept, kind of ninjas of dealing with energy or what? Because if we haven't, this is like these months are really, it's kind of like they're sharpening our sword, and the sword is like, what do you need to cut away? What do you need to like, put your energy towards? It's just, there's lots of navigating. Okay. This is funny. June. Okay, so for one deck, I'm going to tell you I got the discontent and boredom card. And then for this other deck, I'm going to tell you because there's going to be, and I'll explain what that means. That card cracks me up. It's like I'm bored. I'm bored. This card. It's the balance card, and so balancing, straddling, two worlds. So I am going to tell you what the balance and this discontent and boredom look like together for the month of June. So if you have really truly been following the energy, you'll notice there's a lot of things that have been changing for you. Lots of beliefs and stories you've let go of. But as life is a work in progress, it's, you might see some forward momentum. And for some of you, you're still waiting. You're kind of like, okay, is this going to happen? Like, I've been putting this energy, I've been working hard. Where's the results? Where's that thing I've been focusing on diligently? Like, where the heck is it? And the truth of it is we have to, when we get this card, it's a heart, it's about the heart, and it's about, you have to have faith and you have to trust. You can't give up. Like if you've been, I'm going to compare it to working out because that's like the easiest thing I can think of right now. If you've been working out, let's say this has actually happened to me in my life, where I've been on these journeys of trying to lose weight and be healthy. And the first time I really tried to lose weight after my second daughter, it literally, because I do it like a healthy, sustainable way, it took me a year, you guys. It wasn't until like 8 months in that I actually started to see results. Why do I share that? Because that's what this feels like. This month is like I've let go of all these things, and I want this thing to show up. I want proof. I want the validation that everything I've been working towards is showing up. So there will be forward momentum. You will feel, but there might be this feeling of it's not fast enough, or disengagement, like not feeling like as connected to it because you're like, well, I just don't know if this is going to happen. So that's where this beautiful energy of balance comes in. And this is water, and there's like a beautiful owl, but like the water element of this for this month of June, being for here in North America, the summer months, and is one of my favorite things that I was told one time was be like water, flow, be fluid. Water's adaptable, it's flexible, right? And so instead of getting hung up on a specific outcome and why it hasn't come to be yet, you're gonna have to be really still and flow. You're going to have to trust the process. And the more balanced you can be between like what was and what's coming, like really straddling kind of the energy of the in between, the isness of life right now, the more prepared you're going to be for when you actually receive that thing that you want. So it's challenging, right? When we're like, I've been working so hard and I want this thing, and you're going to see evidence, but it might not all come together. It's you're going to see the momentum. You're going to see the bigger things coming, and you're going to see. I always like one of my favorite tools, and I'm just going to share this tool with you because it might help you for this month. Is think about what, like maybe at the new moon for Gemini, which was just on Sunday or Monday, you wrote down, I can't remember, oh yeah, Monday was because Memorial Day, you wrote down what you want to see happen in your life. Like maybe you categorize as different areas. What I want you to think about, one of my favorite tools that Heather Lindemann, she's one of my mentors, gave me years ago, it was like always look for the evidence of the divine showing up in your life, or the universe working in your favor. So what I mean by that is, let's just say there's something specifically you're working on. It might not, like, let's say it's a money goal. This is very tangible. You want to make a specific amount of money if you're an entrepreneur. Maybe you make half of it so far during the month, like you're at a certain point in the month. I want you to write that down. I want you to start to see the evidence of the ways the universe and the divine are working in your life. And I want you to practice appreciation and gratitude. We really have to balance this energy, because if you want more, you have to be in a state of trust. You can't be like opening up to this whole new life that you're calling in and then be like, well, but I just don't know. And it's like the doubt and the confusion and all the things that start to kick in. And it's like, this is a month of centering. This is a month of really making sure you're balancing yourself. You're staying aligned with your body, mind, and your soul, because you're not maybe going to have a full on like, oh yeah, this is coming to fruition, all of it this month. Things take time. But what if you were to look at the progress that you're making? So this month, I really want you to notice the progress. I want you to notice the themes around when you start to feel discontent. What do you do when you feel discontent? Like we're really being initiated into such deep emotional mastery lately. Like I know for me, I have confronted myself, so like I should say confronted with so many aspects of myself lately. Outdated belief systems, ways that I'm operating that don't support who I'm becoming. This is the key. So in order to become that person, right, like you have to continue to embody the futuristic stuff versus where you're at right now. So if you're like, I want to be this person that's making all this, let's say if it's a money goal or a health goal or whatever, I want to be in this relationship. Are you behaving like that person, or are you going to throw a tantrum and get bored and be like, well, it's not working out, so I'm over it? That's not the energy. This is about balancing and having emotional mastery, noticing the stories that pop up. Like, be the observer of your reality. Notice that story that pops up in, I've noticed it really, like, I've been clearing out like such deep levels of old codependency. I'm in this like super amazing, healthy relationship. But I grew up with a codependent mother. I've had codependent relationships in the past, where like things are, I mean, it's been years since that, but it's like there's these subtle, fine layers that where I'm going, I can't bring that with me. When I'm in this healthy relationship, I get to be my best self. So, where might you find these subtle nuances that are not going to allow you to like fully um, become who you want to be? If what is that future vision that you're aligning to? Because we're still like, this is a month that we're really working towards that. We're really, really, really gonna see that. So, and the other last thing I'm hearing is watch out for distractions. That would pull you away from emotional mastery. So a lot of times, we think, oh, if I just like go have that cocktail or go get busy, because Gemini, it's a social season. Like, go have fun and enjoy your life, and stay attuned to the things that you're focused on. Be living intentionally. Don't go drown out your sorrows in a bottle of wine because life isn't going the way that you want, because I promise you that type of energy is going to take you further back than move you forward. Okay, that's one of the things they're showing me right now, is like real emotional mastery and really being intentional with how you're living your life right now if you want the things that you want. Okay, so that's for the month. And then let me go into the first and tell you what I see. And this week, so today being the first, the third Mercury moves into forward momentum, but it takes 2 weeks for it to, so it's like almost like, imagine the third, it like stops and it starts going in back into forward momentum. So we'll be out of the retrograde, but there still might be a little bit of like energy, but for the most part, it's a relief. I know. I had so many scheduling snafus and just weird stuff. I was like, oh. Okay, so for this week, so for the rest of this week, and then I pull another card for the starting for Monday next week. Truth. Um, I'm hearing this word, the uncomfortable truth. And this, I swear, this has been, I must be channeling, I was channeling this yesterday, and I'm going to like speak to this and see what you guys think about this. So, this card is a wake up call, right? It's like the wake up call to see the truth, to make the change, to be a catalyst in your life, to move things forward, all that kind of stuff. So, this is a week where we get to see the truth. But one thing I've noticed is all the ways we lie to ourselves. And what I mean by that, and I'm gonna call it the elephant in the room syndrome. um, it's kind of like if you were in your home and there's this big elephant in the room, but like everybody wants to pretend it's not there. Like you're tiptoeing around it, you're pretending like, okay, it's not really there, but it's like taking up all this space, but I'm gonna, you know, not get in its way. What is the elephant in your room or in your home if you live with other people? The elephant is the part of your life that you don't want to address, that you don't want to see, where you may be settling. And this is kind of a harsh truth that I'm going to bring to you right now. That many people lie to themselves, and the only reason I can speak to this adeptly, I'm going to be really vulnerable, is I used to be like this. I had a big part of my life when I was in my former relationship where there was a big elephant in the room. And until I was fully ready to address it, it was like I would tiptoe around it. I'd almost pretend it wasn't there. But the side effects of pretending the elephant's not there, misery, suffering, not living your best life, you're sure in the hell not going to thrive because you're in survival mode if you're, and sometimes we don't even admit where we're settling. We don't want to admit it to ourselves, because if we admit it to ourselves, then we have to like change. But if you work with me, I believe in your highest thriving life. And I had to learn how to create my own. And I had all these parts of my life back then where my business was thriving. I had these, my amazing daughters, and I was like getting to travel and stuff. But I was like, there's this like one big thing that I didn't want to address because I knew I would have to create a lot of change. And really scared. So what I did, and I'm going to share with you because I think it's going to be really helpful. If you have that elephant, so for some of you it might be like a big elephant, and others it might just be like something that you know you need to see the truth of it so you can make an educated decision and move on or move forward towards it. Okay. But if you have a big elephant and you're like, I don't want to look at my relationship because if I do that, then it's going to cause problems. Or I don't want to like admit to myself that I'm miserable in this job and I hate it. Or I don't want to admit to myself that like I am in debt up to my eyeballs and I haven't done anything about it. Whatever your story is, be gracious, compassionate, and loving towards yourself and get real already. Get real. Why are you lying to yourself? And so I like to say to the divine, like, divine, show me, assist me, help me in working through this elephant in the room thing. Because maybe you know it, or maybe it's just this feeling that you get when I'm talking to you about this. You're like, oh yeah, I'm so stuck and I can't see it. If you need to see it, divine, show me what it is that I always say the prayer, show me what I have not been able to yet see, even more so than I'm already doing now. That's like that prayer, by the way, will, if you think you're missing something and you want to know what it is, God always delivers. So my friend, like, take that one and use that one if you need to. But the prayer, most of you probably have an idea of what the elephant in the room is. And so if you do, just like, God, help me with this. Like, assist me in moving forward and seeing this and creating some change. So this week is about radical acceptance of where we're at. Where are you at? Where are you tracking? What is it that you need to wake up to? What is your consciousness trying to show you and tell you? Because when you can see it and just be open with yourself, like, there's a reason why they say the truth will set you free, because it does. It creates space. And you may not like what it's trying to tell you. You may not like what's happening, but you're a co-creator and you can make you can make change. You can create changes, but you have to be able to see it first. So this just feels like a big thing where, like, overall we're seeing in the collective big truths, that are, coming out. We're in our own personal lives. We're like seeing the truth of our lives. Maybe you're seeing the truth of your direction, and maybe for some of you it's like you're already on the path, but you just need to realign again. You need to like make sure that you're seeing things for what they are and asking yourself. Like, this is like when I was thinking about this earlier today, and I was like, am I doing the right things I need to do in my life? And I have a former version of me that used to be a people pleaser, and I'm really trying to retire that part of me. And I am making decisions and making choices in my life right now. Maybe you are too. That's why I'm going to share this. Where I may make some other people, not everybody's going to agree with the choices I make. I'm just going to say it like that. And that, when you're living a thriving life by design, like, you have to get to that point where you're okay with that. You can't be worried about pleasing everybody and doing what's right for everybody else, because you'll miss your opportunity completely. So part of this is like, maybe there's a version of you that's still participating in people pleasing, like, oh my gosh, what if I hurt this person's feelings, or I do this thing? And it's like, what is your highest truth from the most integral place of your heart that is going to get you where you want to go? This isn't like I'm going to stomp on somebody's head to get there. This is like, I'm going to like really be honest, and I'm going to take action based on that. Okay. That's the first, that's the rest of this week. Seeing the truth, letting it set you free, being open, being loving. And then part of the truth could be really gentle as well. And it could just be like, I am in my truth. I am clear about the life that I want, and I am unwavering. That's the other piece of this. So like, there's the different levels of like, you have no idea why you're stuck, or, and you need to ask what you need to see. Then there might be the version of you, like, there's an elephant. It's like, okay, what do I need to do with this thing so I could start to move forward and not have an elephant at my house? And then there's the other part of you where you might have already been on the path of doing a lot of work, and it's like, I have such conviction. I'm convicted. I know I'm moving in the right direction. And I want you to embrace that wholeheartedly. And your prayer might be like, divine, show me how I can even, more deeply align with the truth in my heart and take action. Take action, even more so than I'm already doing now. Okay. Because for some of you, you already know it. And it's about staying convicted and being okay with it, being okay with what your truth is in whatever area of your life it may be. Okay, so the week of the 6th, we get the crown chakra card. What I'm feeling for this one is the surrender. So everything's always like a storyline, right? When we like look at these cards, it's like, okay, so we're just coming out of the week of like seeing our, uncomfortable truths and, aligning and following the path. And, the truth is not a bad thing. It's just sometimes it's uncomfortable, right? Sometimes it's uncomfortable to really own something. So this is the week, right, where we get to trust our divine guidance, the support. This is a week to go within and to make sure that you're receiving your soul's truth, your heart, versus what everybody else around you is saying. I don't know why, but I get this feeling that if you can't tune into what's yours versus somebody else's, it's gonna like be challenging, because following your truth and staying out of, and like really staying in balance for the month and like staying in like momentum is a big faith game. It's such a big faith game. And so this feels like a week where you're like, surrendering, you're trusting your divine guidance, you're in your faith. And so you must, have different tools, right, that you're going to use this week in order to access. And I'm hearing this like thing about patience, like being patient. Not everybody moves maybe as fast as you, or maybe the universe, like, goes back to what I was saying about the overall stuff for the month. Maybe the universe isn't moving as fast as you desire, but there's a reason. And if you push it, you're forcing something. And so this is kind of like a divine patience of like, I'm just going to trust the timing of everything. I have to trust the timing, because if I don't, then I'm going to get out of alignment, because there's moving parts and pieces to what's happening in your reality that are bigger than you can even comprehend, in a way. So it's like, you asked for something, you want something, and then, as one of my beautiful former mentors would say, Jeannie Fritsch, she'd say, get out of God's chair. This is not like a time to like sit in there and think you know everything and be like, okay, I'm going to try and mastermind this and control this. No, this is a week of like, I let go and I trust in the divine orchestration and design of my life. And I will rest knowing that everything is being handled in the most beautiful ways. Because if you just pay attention to the external world right now, of your external world, it could throw you off this week. And you might be, it goes back to what I'm saying. It's like, you might be like, well, things aren't happening the way I want. What's happening? And I always think of like, we can't throw a tantrum to the, we want, God, what's happening? And it's like, no, like, but this is the thing. If you go internal and you meditate, or you go do some breath work, or go for a long walk and get connected to nature, you're going to feel the peace. You're going to feel the direction that life is taking you. And it's a knowing. The future always speaks to you through feelings. It's not always logic. And if you try and logic, I'm going to tell you straight up, if you tried to logic how you're going to create the life of your dreams, or whatever it is that you're working on, whatever part of your life, the relationship, the job, the this, that, if you try to figure out how that's going to come to be, you are wasting your time. And you are going to get out of alignment, because your mind's going to say to you, I don't know how this is going to happen. But we're not playing in the realm of like ordinary We're not trying to play small here. We're trying to play big games, right? Bold moves of faith, which means your internal compass has got to be on point, moving you towards your North Star, the direction that you want to go in. So this week, I want you to double down on your meditation, your journaling, your ability to go inwards and access your, source energy, source energy, the divine, whatever, God, universe. Take really good care of yourself and relax. Relax. It's all coming to fruition. You are being divinely held this week. And one of the things I love to do is I love to like send my heart's desire up to God, but also up to my divine support team, if you believe in that. Ascended masters, angels, guides of the highest light and unconditional love. And I send them a request because we can use all the assistance, right? We can use all the assistance. So trust the downloads that you receive this week. That's why journaling will be so helpful for you. Yeah, that's the week of the 6th. Okay, so now I'm talking a little bit more than I normally do on these. I'm passionate. That's what I always say about my talk. I'm so passionate. My poor boyfriend always has to listen to me talk for so many hours. Okay. So now we're going into the week of the 13th. We have the Gemini. No, wait. Sagittarius. Sagittarius full moon. I was like, we just had the Gemini new moon. Sagittarius full moon. It's my full moon in Sagittarius. Ruled by Jupiter. Expansion. Lots of goodies with this full moon. Like really, like, I mean, Sagittarius is all about faith, right? So like having faith in where you're going and like really celebrating how far you've come. So that's going to be on the 14th. So the week of the 13th, what do we have going on? How are we going to be supported? This is another card for surrender. I mean, boy, oh boy. Why? I'm teasing. So I know I pulled this card before in our soul cast, but you can see that she's coming out of the murky waters into the light, into the rainbow, and you might feel like you're in the murky waters of your emotions. I feel like when I said be like water, I mean, there definitely feels like there's some like watery, even though Gemini's an air sign, but there's like this like water element to it's the emotional body. I feel like there's emotions like, so like, let's look at this again. We came from the truth, like accessing our truth, and we're like surrendering it. We're receiving a lot of information, and now we get to like put it into action, right? And we get to surrender and we get to trust. And she's like coming out of the water, right? So there's this sense of like we're coming out of something. And so and this card's called sacrifice. Like, what sacrifices are you willing to make for that truth that you want, for that knowing that is kind of like one of those things where if you don't do it, I always like this thought, like the cost of inaction, right? If you don't go for what you want, if you don't do the things, what is that going to cost you? Versus maybe the pain sometimes or the sacrifice of showing up for the things that you're a fuck yes to. Because I'll tell you what, like, it takes almost just as much energy in life to like settle as it does to like really go for something. I know, because I've done both, and I refuse to settle in my life, and I embrace and walk with my fears. It's not, when you're going for your life, it's not that all of a sudden you don't have fear. As a matter of fact, fears may be popping up this week for you. But there's also like this energy of the rainbow, and like there's some like feeling of like the gifts that are coming, of like, oh my God, I can taste it. I can feel it. Like things are starting to like bubble up. Things are feeling good. Are you willing to work for what you want? And sometimes it's not even like work where it's like, if it's the physical body, like maybe you have to get to the gym and that's the work, right? But half the work, half the battle Even if you're working out and you want to be healthier, we all know it's also what you eat and what you think about yourself. So this is a week about like, what are you thinking about too? What are you feeling into? Is it feeling really hard and difficult? Like, how can you reframe that? How can you be like, I am so proud of myself that I'm showing up for the things that I want in my life, that I'm willing to make the sacrifice, that I'm willing to be a big yes to all of this, so I can grow and I can expand and I can have my dreams. How powerful, right? This feels like, I don't know. I get this like feeling of like you're on this like it's like I'm getting like the thought of like a kid's playground, and there's these little things that go round and round, and it's like the more it goes round, it's like you're moving forward the energy, and things are starting to shift, and your environment's going to start to change, and you're going to start to see some evidence. That's like the feeling I get. But this is a week. Don't give up. Don't give up on your dreams, whatever that is. Do the work. Show up for yourself. And by God, don't expect other people to do work for you if you won't do it for yourself. If you want an elevated conscious partnership, are you elevated and conscious? If you want something to work out and you want it's a difficult situation that's full of conflict to be harmonious, are you embodying harmony? Emotional mastery. And this is like sometimes about the need to let go of being right. How can you hold the highest vision, especially if you're going through something difficult? How can you hold the highest vision of what it could be, and are you willing to sacrifice the need to be right so that things can move forward? And you may, this might not be a right or wrong, good or bad thing, but that's what I'm feeling, is like this sense of like trusting in the higher plan that you just saw the week before, not getting caught up in like it's not moving quick enough, staying in the energy, and really being the highest version of yourself in whatever situations that are appearing this week. And knowing that when you act from the deepest places of integrity in all the ways of your life, like that congruency, your that light, that rainbow, that thing, that joy, that pleasure, whatever it is you're working for, you're gonna get it. And don't forget with this one, there's also surrender. You have to surrender. So this is these cards feel really, it's not, this isn't like, I want to say it like this. I'm not getting that I'm going to say it like this. May was a really difficult, in the sense that like maybe you move forward on some things, and maybe you were practicing a lot of emotional mastery because there's so much change. This month feels like you're really still working on the moving towards and the emotional mastery pieces of it. And it's getting easier. It is a lighter month. There is more support. Like one of the things I want you to think about is that like crown chakra card. That's a card of support. Even the sacrifice card is just, it's like go for the gold. It's like an Olympian. Like they don't get to the Olympics by like being little wussies and not showing up for their sport. Like they're actually out there and they're working towards what they want. And too many people like have this like entitled sense that like I'm supposed to just have these things because I'm going to manifest. Like no, you still have to work for it. I mean, you can magnetize stuff to you. I love magnetizing stuff to me, but I work my ass off for my level of embodiment that I have in my life. Don't be afraid. Don't shy away from the work that you have to do to be the best version of you, because it's gonna freaking pay off. That's my PSA. Okay, now the 20th. Oh my god. Ooh, we in the light, baby. Sorry, I don't mean to do my bad singing, but I get excited. I'm like, please, let me have some fun already in June. I don't want to be like all sacrificing and working hard all the time. I literally said to my boyfriend this morning, or not this morning, just this afternoon, I was like, Why do I like the, because I was talking about lessons keep coming and having to like work with the lessons and be a good person and like try and figure things out. And I was like, why do I keep having to do all this? And I'm like, oh, wait, it's life. It's what we do, right? When we want to be the best version, like we're working, we're moving with life. Like we're, energetic ninjas. I like to always say that. So we get to this beautiful, gorgeous card, light card. I mean, let's have some freaking summer. That's what this feels like: fun, social, life, like remembering, like, okay, I've been like seeing the truth and surrendering and praying and meditating and being in this really yummy space with the divine. And then I was working towards my stuff with the sacrifice card. I'm going for it. Now I want to celebrate and have some fun. I mean, by the way, always have fun in your life. Like that's like the sacred elixir. Like I always have fun, joy, and pleasure. That's just the way it has to be. Um, but this card's like, you're in the light. You get to like feel good. Like especially there might be something where you're like, oh, I am becoming that future version of myself. I'm really like feeling it coming, And then there's this sense of the eternal child that gets to play and have fun. So this is a week of joy and just pleasure and, enjoying the sunshine or whatever you want to do. Get out in nature, like recharge your physical body, celebrate the things that are going really well for you. Let the people that want to be like, I don't know why they're saying this, but let the people that want to be in your life to support you and be in that light with you, like really celebrate that too. Like really be appreciative of the ones that are walking with you in this life. Because God, without our support systems and good laughter and joy and great food and all that kind of stuff, like, life wouldn't be as wonderful. So this is a week to really focus on that. Also, your inner child is is getting some healing, because you're going to realize something that week of the 2 weeks before this. Like when you trust your truth and you're willing to do the work and you're willing to surrender and ask the divine for help and you're willing to take action on it, you heal your inner child. You heal an aspect. You recover and reclaim a part of yourself. And that is when we come into this wholeness, this juicy wholeness, where all forward momentum comes from, right? I literally did a live about this earlier today, where receiving the superabundance of your life, like whatever it is that you want, comes when you accept all parts and aspects of you. Like everything that you're, like from your past, and your inner child like is frozen in time in different parts of your life from trauma. When you integrate those frozen parts, and like, it's just, imagine it's almost like you're taking an ice cube. I keep saying water for whatever, and you're like putting it in your heart and it melts. There's all this like, more ability to be in the warmth of your heart. That is when you are able to start receiving more. Because I said this earlier, I'm going to say it one more time because it really is good for this one. If you want to receive superabundance, receive all of you. Because if you don't receive parts of yourself, like if you say, I don't like that part of myself, or I'm ashamed of that part of myself, or that part of me sucks, you're literally telling the universe, like, I can't receive all of who I am, so there's no way I can receive all of what you want to give me. I don't have space. I don't even love all the parts of myself. So this is a week to reframe that, to step into the wholeness of your being, to step into the light, to receive the codes of what's coming in, the loving codes from the planet. Go somewhere where you feel the love of Mama Earth. I feel a lot of light codes are going to be coming in this week. There's a lot of like juicy, loving energy coming in that we can receive. Assist yourself in receiving it by going out into nature, wherever that nature is for you, because it's going to be really, really powerful. And for some of you, this might be like you are in the spotlight. Like for some of you, you're getting the recognition. You might get the thing at your career. You might be noticed in for something that you've been wanting. Like it definitely feels like there's like some you got picked, for something, and everybody's gonna know it, and it's really exciting. Maybe you get the book deal. Maybe you get chosen to speak. Maybe your partner is like, I choose you. I love you so much. I don't know. Maybe your kids something, but it's a beautiful energy. So that's the 20th. And then the last week we have a new moon in Cancer. We're going to be going into Cancer season. Um, Fun times. I'm kidding. I like Cancer. Um, it's all, I have Cancer in my chart. Um, but I won't get into that until we get closer to it. But the 27th, what do we have going on the 27th? Oh, one last thing they're telling me about that week of the 20th with the Sun card. You might receive the download of the next thing that you're working on too. Like there's a lot with that when you're in that joy and you're receiving all that pleasure. Dance, have fun, be in nature, like I was saying, because you're going to receive some codes. I'm excited about that for you. Okay. I'm gonna pull. I know I never do this, but like I feel like I was channeling and then I pulled that card and I don't really know that. I don't know if that's the card for it, but I'm gonna make sure that I pull two cards for the last week because I kind of usually I'm very intentional, and we only have 4 days of that last week, but I just want to make sure I have the right energy. So I got the mental conflict and the strength card, which kind of actually go really beautifully together. So um this card is facing the resistance, right? This card is like maybe you're deliberating over a decision, whatever. This has to do with deliberation. It has to do with the mind. And so I want you to practice something this last week of June, and it's this. It's like, do I need to believe every story that my mind is telling me? Can I be the observer? And if I were to be the observer of my reality, like what what is how much more energy is available to me? And if you are deliberating on something this week, make a decision. It is, I mean, take some action this week because on that decision, because it's really tough for the mind to have all these open tabs. I know for me, like taking like having discipline and taking action on things helps me move forward in my life. If I'm just like, I don't know if I should do this or that or da da da, it's like you might have a dichotomy that week of like this or that. Maybe it's a big and like maybe there's a compromise. It feels like there's a little bit of tit for tat. Like, okay, how can we make this an and situation? How can everybody benefit from this? So thinking about that and facing whatever resistance is showing up for you within this decision or thing that's causing you some conflict. Because the conflict is always a deeper invitation into seeing what's happening inside of you. What is your awareness over what's happening, and how can you co-regulate with the future versus the past? Because the past, you know how you've done things in the past, but we want to do something different and new. So this week, the last part of June feels like, you're kind of like having to get, like, you're going to, it's like a full circle back to that truth. Like that truth that we started with at the beginning of the month. I want you to fully circle and back and just make sure, like, okay, am I moving forward in this? Am I making the decisions that are aligned with the truth in my heart? Am I getting the support that I need? Am I enjoying this journey that I'm on thus far? So get out of the mental conflict, make a decision, move forward. Okay. That is your June. Overall, it feels really good. I mean, I definitely think there's more lightness than May. And I see a lot of red, magenta energy, which feels very much like we're still very, like we're dealing with the physical reality a lot, as we should. We shouldn't all be up in here, but we're in our bodies. We're making changes. We're doing the things, and we're moving towards our dreams. And I'm going to end it with this. And I say this a lot, but don't stop before the miracle happens. It's so easy sometimes, and especially with that like discontent and boredom card, to be like, oh. But I really want you to trust the way everything's unfolding, trusting the timing, knowing that the more I want to say this, the more pristine in your energy you can be, like the way, like think of the waves that you're sending out into the quantum field for what you want. The more pristine, that means getting rid of the stories, like staying in the elevated feelings of what you want, the faster the things that you want are going to come. So like that last week, if you're in the deliberation over something, I want you to ask yourself a very simple question. Is this empowering me and bringing me towards that dream? Or is this weighing me down and taking me, kind of like tethering me to the past? And that will help you make your decision. That will help you create forward movement and momentum. Much love. Hope you guys have an incredible June. I will be seeing you throughout the month. Okay,